Hey guys, how's it going? Ghostly Reacher today, and today we are going to be installing some new brakes on a Jeep. So first thing you're going to need is, of course, a jack stand, a jack, a piston retraction tool. What's going to happen is, they also just call this a brake tool. I'll show you how to use this later, but you need one. It makes everything so much easier. You can also do this if you have a C-clamp, but these things are so bloody cheap. If you're out and about grabbing parts, just grab that. This, of course, is a wheel lock nut tool. If you take a look here, that's just gonna go on here because one of our rims have a wheel lock. Next thing, of course, is make sure you have a basic socket set. That's all it really takes. So first thing you're gonna wanna do is line this up, which I'll do in a second, and crack these loose. Don't take them off, just crack them loose. After you've cracked those loose, make sure, one, your parking brake is on. Two, if you can, put some wheel blocks in front of these tires or on the back here so that way your vehicle is not gonna roll no matter what. You can even go to the other side here and put in a wheel block. That's just my suggestion. So this is what I like to do. Leave the jack underneath it, put a jack stand, just like that. Make sure you have gap, obviously. Look underneath, you'll see gap. But yes, make sure that's resting on there, holding like so. And this is holding like so. I leave them both in here, one, because that way when we loosen it, all we have to do is tighten it up a little bit, take out your jack later, and then swap it to the other side. There's no reason to take the jack out. Just make sure that this is actually sitting on the jack stand, just in case something slips. This part's pretty simple. Loosen off the lug nuts, take the tire out of the way, or use it as a seat. Mine's soaked, so that won't be happening. After you remove your tire, you're gonna be looking at your rotor. Nice and pretty, right? After that, you need yourself a 1/2-inch socket, and all you're gonna do is go around behind here and loosen off the 1/2-inch bolt here and the 1/2-inch bolt on the bottom. Once you loosen these off, should free our caliper. If you go to remove it, and as you're going with the screw, you see that this bolt right here is moving. You can always put a box wrench on here, maybe a 5/8. But yeah, all you do is you just put a box wrench on here. It'll hold that, and then you can either undo it by fingers or continue on with your ratchet. Usually after you crack it loose, you'll be able to get it off no problem like so. So once that's there, just loosen your screw, pull it out, put it down. After you pull it out, now you'll just have to wiggle this free, put it gently down, don't let it bang down, just like get it off. You can put it here, you can put it on a box, do whatever you want. After that, you just grab the pad, move it around and get it off. Once the pads are off, take this hardware out, just like so. You're gonna unclip these old ones, go into your new box of pads. You're gonna see them. Ta-da! Put these right here, that's your new pads. And right here is your new box of shims. Match them up. Once you grab it, just match it up to the according shim and slip the new ones in there. You wanna make sure you switch these out, just so that way you keep the pad running smooth. You don't get any whining or chattering or anything like that. Ta-da! I found a match. You can see that it's the exact same shape, exact same everything. Click it into place the same way you remove it out. So if you take a look here, there's one part with a tab, and then if you take a look here, there is one without a tab. This is the one that is sticking out. So if you take a look, you just do this, boom, in like so. Now this side, which has your little hook, you're gonna put on the back side. And that's pretty easy, just do it the same. Put it in, and then put in the other hook and leave that hanging out. So as you can see, this is the brake tool. It goes in like so. You put this in, and you put that like so, and you tighten it. What you're gonna do is, as you tighten it, you're gonna see that piston get pushed back inside so that way you can slide this caliper over your brakes, because you aren't right now. You won't be able to. So once I'm just seeing if I can tighten this up enough. Again, this is a little bit sloppy because I'm doing this one-handed, and yeah, so just continuously tighten this until you start pushing that piston back. You're gonna push the piston all the way in, as far as you can go. Once you do so, we should be able to slide this back over the brake pads so we can put those 2 screws back in. As you can see, all the way in. I've screwed it all the way in and it's in there. Just make sure this metal plate is on this side of the caliper so that way it works. You literally just screw it all the way in. Now the way of doing it with a C-clamp is quite simple. you would put a metal plate or something right here, and you would just tighten the C-clamp, or you'd put it on the back end. And then as you tighten the C-clamp, it does the same thing. It tightens it in. Right here, as you can see, afterwards, I'm just gonna show you. What you do is make sure your bolts, and you might have to squeeze them in, but bam, as you can see, this is all here. Now throw your bolts in. Perfect. So at this point, after you've done that, looked over my rotor. My rotor looks fine. I'm not gonna be doing anything with that. Tightened up the bolts, tighten up this. Pads are not moving around at all, so we're doing real good there. Next thing to do, put your tire on, and let's put on our lugs. From there, move on to the next. There you go, she's back together. If you have a torque wrench, smack these buddies back to 80 pounds, foot-pounds. And some people tell you higher, it's up to you. I usually keep them at 80, so that way if you're in the bush or something, you can still get these suckers loose. Otherwise, or on the side of the road, because if you do it any more than that, usually it's a lot more troublesome. Some people run them at 90, up to you. Anyways, thanks again for watching. Press like if it helped you out, subscribe for more. You never know what I'm doing next.